Keisha here of New World Tarot. Thank you for tuning in. So would you say that you live an adventurous life? Or is everything in your life under tight and perfect control with no surprises and no predictability? Would you like your life to hold more adventure? Now, not all of us want or are meant to live lives of constant danger and never-ending intrigue and constant death-defying action, around each corner. There's certainly something to be said about stability and groundedness. However, I do believe in the concept of too much of a good thing and too much predictability, too much tameness, too much routine can really be a detriment and an obstacle to not only your growth, but also your happiness. This Tuesday, November 26th, marks the new moon. Now, the new moon is the moon phase that marks new beginnings. This is a great time to really rededicate ourselves to new starts. The new moon is the moon phase of new energy and growth. And this new moon arrives in the sign of Sagittarius. So what can we say about the sign of Sagittarius? Sagittarius is the sign of the straight shooter. People born under this sign are often known for their straightforward and opinionated manner. This energy is confident, it's expressive, and it's authentic. Another aspect of Sagittarius energy is its taste for action and adventure. Sagittarius is ruled by the element of fire, and it's symbolized by the archer, which is often depicted by a centaur pulling back and firing a bow and arrow. And very similarly to the statue of Artemis that I have here, where we have the bow and arrow being pointed up, skyward, okay? And that, again, even that upward angle is often considered to be a sign of optimism. Now, Sagittarians are drawn to travel, fun, and stimulation. And they are not ones to really be bored or who really like to embrace routine or stagnation of any type at all. Now, this new moon in Sagittarius, it's a very potent time to really honor and tap into our own desires for change, action, and adventure. This new moon is a reminder that balance and change are also important aspects of life, and that we should never forget that. It reminds us that comfort and stability are wonderful things, but too much can solidify us, can age us beyond our years, and make us even more fearful than we've ever been before. And it's all about balance. Even if you love your predictable, routine-filled life, that's okay. But just be honest, has it become boring? Could you use a little more sparks, a little more spice? So this new moon in Sagittarius, do you consider your life adventurous? Would you like a bit more pizzazz in your life? So why is it important to have some adventure in your life? Why is it important to really step outside the box on occasion? Well, the short answer is, it's in your DNA. You as a human are a mover and a shaker. You are a creator. You are an innovator. You are an explorer and a conqueror, and you are a member of the only species that doesn't take what it's given it. Humans, your species are trailblazers. You're not here to be snatched into a box your entire life. You're here to learn, which is, also a Sagittarius trait as well. You're here to learn and to expand and to forever change the landscape and the other beings that you come into contact with. You do that by remaining open to newness, by remaining open to new opportunities, to new experiences, to learning new things, and being open to new adventures. It all starts with being open to a new adventure. You remain open to change when you are open to new adventures. And by doing that, you change others and you change the world. So what are some ways we can bring more adventure into our lives? Number one, say yes more. So one simple way to bring more excitement and adventure and fire into your life is to not be so quick to say no to the things you always say no to. And this is especially important if you actively want change in your life of any type. For example, if you find yourself struggling with relationships, for example, you want to say yes to someone who may not be your typical type. That might actually take you out of a recurring pattern, lead you again into a new adventure and into something new and wonderful in your life. Another example, if you are living in a boring lifestyle, say yes when someone suggests doing something after work. If you find yourself overwhelmed a lot, say yes when someone offers you a helping hand. The next time an opportunity presents itself, before you fall automatically into your usual pattern and shoot it down with a firm no, pause, take a moment, and ask yourself what good things might happen if I say yes to this instead. All right, number 2 is to travel more. Travel is one of the easiest and most direct to the vein ways to bring more adventure into your life. Just like that. You know, international travel can be the most adventurous, yes, but it doesn't have to be. Any travel away from home, away from your routine, exposes you to different people, to different locations, and to different things and customs. But more than anything, it interrupts your routine, and it takes you out of that sort of sleepwalking sort of state. You know what I'm saying? That we often live in our day in, day out routine, you know, especially when we have the same job and we do the same things, we see the same people, we do the same work, we do the same tasks, we drive the same roads. Travel of any type, getting away from your routine, interrupts that, and it wakes you up. And, you know, it's really important to just use that to kind of come out of that sleepwalking state. Just because, you know, time passes so quickly because we kind of, again, sleepwalk through our days. You know, we start on Monday, we're just grown, like, oh, here we go again. And we go through the routine, and we go to bed, and we get up and we do it again. And the next thing you know, a whole week has passed. And, you know, just like that, you don't really recall it, much of it, and you're ready to do it all over again. Okay? So travel, any type of travel, wakes you up from that. Travel causes you to live more in the present moment. And, you know, you're not moping around, not fully in your body, wishing you were somewhere else. When you travel and go on vacation, you are so much more alive and childlike again. There is wonder and curiosity again. And maybe even, you know, a tinge of uncertainty and fear. A little fear is important. Which brings me to number 3, which is feel some fear. So one huge sign you can use more adventure in your life is that you avoid fear and discomfort like the plague. Exposing yourself to some fear is important and highly beneficial to your life. The number one thing that keeps all of us from having what we desire is fear. So exposing yourself to it more will enable you to move through it more, thus moving you closer to what you desire. So remember, we are made for adventure and passion and challenging ourselves. So it's vital, in order for you to really continue growing, to do the things that scare you, you know, on somewhat of a regular basis. And, you know, some ideas include, you know, on the physical level, riding a roller coaster or skydiving or whitewater rafting, you know, or mountain climbing. Or for more cerebral fears, attending a nude beach or giving a public speech or asking someone out or entering some sort of a competition, you know, which, by the way, competitions actually trigger one of our biggest fears in society, which is the fear of failure. So remember to make time to get a little uncomfortable and then push through it. It will make you a stronger, more confident, and sexier person, for sure. So before I go, I'd like to talk a bit about a tarot card. And this card is the 8 of Wands. And in a moment, I'm going to have some examples up on the screen for you to take a look at. Okay. Now, the 8 of Wands is a card that often is depicted quite similarly among different decks. And I've chosen 3 of my favorites here. Now, many decks actually take directly from the Rider-Waite-Smith 8 of Wands, which is the first card here on the left. And this card, you know, what I consider kind of the OG, you know, of the most widely known and popular tarot styles right now, it shows 8 wands kind of flying through the air, and they're about to land on the earth. It's kind of a mid-action snapshot that we're seeing here. And one thing you may see in common between the one on the left and the one in the middle, which is from the Spirit Keepers Tarot, are these arrows. And we have the concept of these arrows flying mid-flight. And this card is actually associated with the sign of Sagittarius. It even reminds us of Sagittarius, doesn't it? You know, with the arrows flying. And we even see, and I love this Spirit Keepers tarot deck for this reason, because it helped me memorize the astrological associations. We can even see the glyph of Sagittarius on the sharpshooter card, which is the 8 of scepters in in this deck. Okay, it's up in the top right hand corner. And Mercury in Sagittarius is the astrological deacon for this card. And Mercury is often associated with quickness and movement as well. So what we have here is a planet of quickness and movement and a sign of action and adventure and movement. So there's a lot of, this is not a card of stagnation by any means. And looking at all of these cards, you know, they just scream action and movement and travel. And that's what this card means to me. Now, when we see some very action-packed scenes in all three of these. And the card on the right, which is from the Alice Tarot, is also showing a scene in the middle of action, though the scene itself is quite different. The deck creators have discarded the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith imagery of flying arrows and chosen to express that same energy by way of a scene from the Lewis Carroll novel, Through the Looking Glass. And I love this one because this is a scene from Through the Looking Glass where the Red Queen is running in place and pulling Alice along with her. And Alice is like, why are we going so fast? And we're not going anywhere. And the Red Queen kind of answers, you know, what? That's nothing. You got to go twice as fast as that to get anywhere around here. Which is, of course, absurd, and, you know, in the way that everything is in this universe. But again, it's just about action, and it's about movement, and not being stagnant, or not staying where you are. Okay? Now, the Eight of Wands is, to me, traditionally about now. It's about nowness. It's about things happening, not next week, not yesterday, but right now. And because of that, I associate this card with the present moment. Now, this card could sometimes be about things happening too fast. That certainly is one of the more, you know, shadowy meanings of the card, and a common meaning. But again, when we are diving deeper into this card, I also see an embracing of what is happening now. I see a freezing, you know, an expanding of the present moment. I see this as sort of the, you know, the space-time continuum card. To me, it's a card of the second feeling like an hour. The very, like, you know, when people talk about how things went into slow motion and how it felt like something lasted for an hour when in actuality it may have only lasted a minute. I kind of think of that feeling, a collapsing of time. There is no yesterday, there is no tomorrow, there's only now. And the mid-flight arrows sort of remind me of the film The Matrix. Have you ever seen The Matrix with Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss? And of course there are, you know, these scenes where they're either sort of freezing midair, and again, as time just slows down. And sometimes time slows down, but they're able to move in between quickly, in between, you know, these seconds. And it's just, you know, it's awesome. And I see so much fire and just aliveness in this card. And this is a card of eyes wide open and your mouth open, like, you know, like, whoa, in slow motion. And for this reason, I sort of associate this card with embracing action and embracing the power and the magic of the present moment. And, you know, this is certainly an effective way to bring in more adventure. The Eight of Wands is, to me, also a card of cause and effect. And I love it because, again, it's a snapshot of what is traditionally a very short period of time. You know, like what the best photographers manage to capture, that split-second moment and make it last forever. You know, but you wonder, you know, what is the cause? You look at these at you know, these action scenes on these cards, and you ask yourself, what is the cause of this moment? You know, where did those arrows come from? What happened before this scene? What is the effect of this moment? Where are these arrows going to land? What is going to happen afterwards? Okay, and you know, it could be very beneficial to explore the greater flow of what is happening in our current state of action or in our current state of inaction. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick tarot spread asking how we can bring in more adventure into our lives. And for this, I'm going to use, you know, my trusty standard original Rider-Waite-Smith deck here. And what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the Eight of Wands as being symbolic of us living in the moment, of us embracing action and embracing adventure. And we're going to choose the Page of Wands as being representing us. The Page Page of Wands to me is a student of fire, is a student of how to live more authentically, how to really, follow our passions and cultivate our loves and our spirit, and just learn how to learn our way on earth and our way in life, by incorporating our spirit and our true selves. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw 2 cards, just asking, how can we, as students, students of spirit and students of learning, how can we achieve bringing more adventure into our lives and really learn to embrace the present moment and just shake things up and, approach action, more action and whatnot. Okay, I'm going to do a quick shuffle here and choose, choose 2 cards rather. Okay, so how can we as students of spirit bring in more adventure into our lives and kind of just shake up our lifestyle and just shake up our routine and just be open to new adventures. Okay, next one. All right, so we have King of Swords is our first card. And the second card, we have the 6 of Cups. All right, so in a moment, I'm going to have these cards pulled up on the screen for you. All right, so in asking, how can we, as students of spirit and life, bring more adventure and shake up, into our lives and shake up our routine? And we have the King of Swords and the 6 of Cups. And right away, I'm just struck by the contrast between the very stern looking, very serious looking King of Swords and these very innocent looking, happy children of the 6 of Cups. And what I see here is just actually a message and a warning just to deal with the King of Swords aspect within ourselves. When I think of the King of Swords, I think of our need for control. It's our need to be very rational about things, to always be make very logical, rational, common sense decisions. Like, this is the card of the grumpy adult. This is the card of, no fun. It's time, to think about your future and think about what is the best thing for you, for your retirement plan, and what's the best thing for your career path, and that sort of a thing. And when I see him showing up here, I think this is something that all of us, if you're an adult in Western civilization, that we have this aspect going on in our heads. And this is a sign that we need to deal with this voice that is, that doesn't like fun. The King of Swords does not like fun at all, and does not like to deviate from the path. He likes to be very rational and likes to know, and likes strategy, and likes knowing what's coming up ahead. And however, what we need to embrace more of is shown in the 6 of Cups, where we have, literally, it reminds me of just embracing childhood fun and embracing childhood wonders. It's a card of just remembering what it was like to be a kid when you didn't have all of this routine yet in your life, where days were actually, you didn't really know what was going to happen next. There were certain days like Christmas, your birthday, taking trips, taking school trips. There are days that were just totally unpredictable, and you just had this freshness and this. You sprang out of bed. And you were eager to start the day, and this was you once upon a time. You were someone who really embraced life, and it's about remembering that. And even the name of this card, the Hermetic title, is the Lord of Pleasure. And it just reminds you of just seeking out more pleasure in your life. And doing that and just embracing more of the childhood wonder that you used to have is going to do wonders for you in your life and for opening up more adventure into your life. All right, so that is it for me today. I want to thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful, blessed rest of your month, wonderful new moon in Sagittarius, and that you do go ahead and just try at least one thing, just to bring in more adventure, more fun into your life, and that you just have a ball. Not just this month, but always. All right, thank you very much, and we will see you next time for the full moon. Be blessed, be happy, be safe, and take care. Bye.